Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 14, called New Groom Who Dis. This is basically the wedding for Michael, his second time around, and Chloe. Before I get started with the review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So let's go ahead and get on with this review. Before the wedding, Michael seems very optimistic. He's always a good sport, a lot like Emily. He's just down for anything, good natured guy. Uh, and Chloe, when we see her at first, she seemed more serious than when we first met her. And I know she was kind of a tightwad and a control freak, and I thought maybe that side was coming out of her. She just seemed more serious, but apparently she was very nervous for her upcoming wedding. You know, before she was just happy go lucky, just giggly and smiley and positive, and then she became very serious. And then she kind of snapped out of it. But for a while there, she was nervous. She kept talking. I don't know if the cameras wanted her to keep talking to kill time with her bridesmaids, but it just seemed a little too long and just repetitive stuff. So Michael's at the altar and he's wearing a pink suit. Has to have some flair. And in his hair, he has a heart uh, that was cut into his hair, a, a little heart shaped symbol in his head, which was cute. I guess it was cute. And Chloe, she always seems so put together for the most part, but she wore Converse tennis shoes as her wedding shoes. I don't know why she did that. I mean, I could see after your wedding, but walking, I don't know, whatever. um, and when they get to the altar, you know, with a lot of the other cast members in attendance, um, they they seem to really hit it off. It seemed to be a match. Chloe was just her happy, giddy self and very welcoming, and he's receptive to anyone. And so far at the altar, she just wanted to keep holding his hands. Um, so it just seemed like like at that moment, she wasn't going to walk away. It wasn't going to be like it happened before the bride um, escaping the wedding. And afterwards, after the wedding, they sat and talked, and he briefly told her, he said Cliff Note versions of events that took place at his original wedding that the lady, his bride, left him at the altar. I think she kind of felt a way about that. He kept reassuring her that this experience is going to be their experience. His original experience will have no bearing. She's not second best. He's telling her. I think the way he communicates, he is emotionally intelligent. That is what he exudes: confidence, intelligent, emotionally intelligence, and that is the most attractive thing about him. However, I still would want a man who looks normal and acts normal, without the tattoos and all the goings on that he has. But emotionally intelligence is very, very attractive, and he definitely has that. Um, I really like that about him. So after the wedding, of course, well, not of course, it's the first time it ever happened. Um, it they have Chloe meet the rest of the cast because she didn't get to do the bachelor, the bachelor bachelorette party and all that and meet them that way. So she meets them after her wedding. The fractured bunch, if she only knew what was going on. They're 1 month into it and basically no one's staying together. Um, so she meets them and she's very cheerful and just excited to meet them all. Really good positive attitude about everything. And at the wedding, they sat Lauren and Orion next to each other, and Orion wanted to speak to Lauren, and he wanted to know if she wanted to go, I guess maybe step away and talk. And I think possibly that Lauren was a little defensive, maybe just a little, she has nothing to say. She said, she has no lingering animosity towards him. They're cool. She's taken some time out for herself, which could only be a matter of a couple of weeks at this point. And she's getting back to herself. One thing, Lauren looked really nice. Love that color on her, that olive. She looked a lot thinner to me. So I was like in her face, she just looked a lot thinner than when we last saw her. So did this breakup really affect her and maybe her eating habits? She just looks skinnier. Anyway, Orion kept, politely talking to her at the table. They did not step away. And he he was kind of telling her about him being with the therapist and talking about him and his stubbornness. And he mentioned that one thing that they had an issue with is when she got mad, her voice, her tone, the octaves went up, and that was triggering for him, brought him back to a place in his childhood where that occurred and how it made him feel. And I think he was alluding to his stubbornness is what made him pull the trigger on the marriage and ask for a divorce. Uh, he asked for a hug from her, which was very sweet. And the hug seemed very sweet and tender, sincere, and meaningful. I just want to know if that's going to kick up any type of emotion in either one of them. But it was nice to see he was real adult about it. I think that made Lauren put her guards down a little bit and be real receptive to him. She was very polite the whole time, but the fact that she didn't want to speak, which maybe she didn't, but he got through to her and they made a connection where it seems like they have some type of maybe real resolve there. So that's good for there. Uh, Another thing after the wedding, I don't know. I thought I saw someone roller skating at the wedding. I mean, she has her tennis shoes on. It looks like people were roller skating. Everyone's looked like they had a really good time. Uh, Orion and Brennan spoke to Michael after the wedding, and I don't know why Orion had to do this reenactment by grabbing Brennan's hands and show Michael what it looked like at his wedding. I didn't know why he had to do that. That was just a little off for me. You can just talk without doing all that. You don't have to do an actual reenactment. Um, and the girls spoke to Chloe a little bit, giving her advice. What advice were these broken women going to give her? I think she's even older than all of them, but she was gracious and listen and heard them out. She just really seems. I mean, I know this is her representative that she's bringing forth, but her representative is really pleasant, and she just seems so far just like a nice, pleasant person to have around. And seems like she's open to new friends and new experiences. She's not closed up and closed off to people. Um, while at the wedding, it was Claire called Cameron because he had that heart procedure. We don't have any update on that. She placed the call, I guess, feeling nostalgic at somebody else's wedding, of course, and hers falling apart in such a short amount of time. She called and left a message, so he never answered. Apparently, she calls and maybe speaks to him every day. That's great. At the wedding, Emily had a great time. Fun Emily was back, drinking, of course. I don't know how Brennan felt about that. She wanted to dance, and he wanted her to go off and dance. And she went out on the dance floor and had a great time. She, Emily loves a wedding, which is great. And also, um, her name is Chloe. Chloe spoke to Michael's friends to get a good feel of him, and in talking to them, they asked her if she wanted kids, and she said that she didn't. Right off the bat, no, there's too many kids out in the world. She could adopt one if she's so inclined, if that's what she wants, but there won't be no kids coming out of her body. And hearing that, I didn't realize what Michael, how he felt on the subject. And in turn, he was speaking to her friends and family, and one of them asked about kids, and he's not really big on it. If his partner wants kids, that's possible, or they can adopt. They seem to be on the same page with that, and without each other knowing how the other one felt, they're on the same page. So that's a good sign. Now their wedding night seemed sweet, and just perfect for them. I'll have to say this though. Michael, who looks so skinny, is very toned and muscular. At least his upper body, what we saw of him, he looked great. She should be happy with that. They had the roses in the bed. Of course, he unzipped her wedding dress, and they got in bed and they cuddled. And the whole time, it was just a sweet wedding. They seemed like they had a good time at their wedding, kissing when they were clinging in the glasses. And so I was happy to see that MAFS put on this wedding, the whole wedding to the wedding night, all in one day. So it's doable. I don't know why they just don't do that. Um, so I hope they go off to a honeymoon, though it is going to be a fractured wedding process for them, or a marriage process. I think they only got like 20 days to see if they are going to stay together. I'm sure they have to give their decision on the same day as everyone else. So it's going to be expedited. Not too much else went on with this episode. It seemed longer than it was, but other than that, that was it, I guess. I think that was it. Okay, so that is it for now. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. Check out my channel to see my other videos of other TV shows, hotel room reviews, and restaurant reviews. Uh, and I thank you for staying with me to the end, but I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.